If you want to survive in real estate investing, you have to develop one very important skill, and that skill is the ability to close deals. Now, the great part about this skill is it is transferable. You can teach other people this stuff. I have made a living over the last 6 years of teaching people how to close. That's the way I was able to get out of my business and start working on it. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the 3 things that you're absolutely gonna need to teach someone else how to close, more specifically a virtual assistant, someone who's never been in the United States. Crazy, it's actually possible. It's a part of what I call the perfect business model. So first things first, in order to get a virtual assistant to close deals, they have to understand some very specific knowledge in real estate. They don't need to know everything, but they need to be able to answer surface level questions. Like they need to be able to understand escrow. They need to be able to understand how a transaction works. They need to understand common objections that they're going to face when they bring up price and how to respond to it properly in a confident manner so they don't lose the rapport that they built with the seller. So specific knowledge, not just understanding definitions, but knowledge in the situation is very important. They don't need to know everything, just answering surface level questions should be enough to get them to the point where they can get someone to sign a contract. The second thing that they're going to need is a framework to follow. You don't want to just say, hey, go call this person and see if they're going to accept X price. That's how you can basically ensure you're going to light money on fire and burn it and you're never going to do any deals. They need a repeatable framework that they can always go back to and put a lead through that process. The best closers in the world, the people who close the most deals, they have a framework. Whether they say it or not, there is a process that they follow. And if you listen to them, I guarantee they'll say something very similar when they meet with a prospect over and over and over again. I like to say it's like a stand-up comedian testing their material. And once you get to the point where you figure out what material hits, you just go back to that and you play the favorites over and over again. So when you go to outsource this to someone like a virtual assistant, they need to have some framework to follow so they can create a repeatable process and duplicate those results over and over and over again. If you would like my framework that I use in my real estate investing business that we've tried and tested over the last 6 years, I'm happy to give it to you. I'll tell you exactly how you can get it after I explain the third and probably the most important part in this process. So let's hop right to it. So the third and probably the most important part of this process is what I call the 2 R's. The first R is role playing. Now, role playing may seem like it's something that's not that necessary or something that you shouldn't take that serious because it's just fake scenarios, but I promise you it works and it needs to happen every single day. But getting started, you need to be meeting with your team every day and engaging in aggressive role playing. In these sessions, you are taking on the most common objections that your team faces day in and day out, and it gives them the ability to get answers to the objections that maybe they had that stumped them from the day prior or the weeks prior. And you know you have a good salesperson or someone that's getting better, that objection no longer stumps them in the role play session. So that needs to happen every single day. And the last R in this process is repetition. They got to spend time under the bar. They have to get repetitions. There's no substitute for just implementing it and doing it, right? So it goes with role playing to repetitions. As you take the repetitions, you go back and you learn in role play sessions how to get better and you stay on this cycle. But most importantly, they have a framework to follow that they're using in their calls while they're taking their repetitions. It creates predictability and they start to understand not just surface level questions, but they start really digging deep into the things that they're going to face on a daily basis when they're on a phone call with a prospect. So if you want to see a deep dive in on my framework that we use in our internal business, how we go about our role play sessions, the repetitions that you're going to need to expect to start getting some consistent numbers and everything in between, you need to come to my Saturday training at 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be showing you how to train a virtual assistant to close deals in your business. Once you get this down, this will be your biggest competitive advantage your business can have against any other real estate investor or real estate investing business in your market. They're hiring and firing local talent and having to pay 30% on a deal, 35% on the deal. You're paying someone hourly to do this job. It is an absolute hack that I think is one of the things that really set my business apart over the last few years. So hope to see you on Saturday. Hope you got value from this video. If you did, as always, subscribe to the channel. See you there.